How's everybody doing? Yeah, come on, you can do a little better than that, yeah? How's everybody doing? I was really excited to see when Mark asked at the beginning how many people hadn't heard, or this is the first time that you're being exposed to the Healing Center. So I want to tell a little bit of my story, but this is all about a network effect of you all going out and telling what you have heard today, because we all know somebody that has been affected in some way or another. And this is all about us just telling stories and being able to connect and be able to have a central place that we can go. So as Mark said, my name is Reich. I'm currently a board member. We are a small organization that is filling a unique need in the community. And where I wanted to start today was just a really simple story. So some of you may have heard this before. So there's a guy who's walking down the street and he falls into a hole. The walls are really steep and he can't get out. A doctor passes by and the guy shouts up, "Hey, can you help me?" So the doctor takes out his prescription pad, writes a prescription, and throws it in the hole. And he walks on. Then a priest comes by, and a guy shouts up, "Father, I'm down here. I'm in this hole. Can you help me out?" The priest writes out a prayer, tosses it down into the hole, and he moves on. Then a friend walks by, and he goes, "Hey, Joe, can you help me out?" And the friend jumps in the hole. And then our guy goes, "Why'd you jump in the hole? Are you stupid? Now we're both down here." And the friend says, "Yeah, but I've been down here before, and I know the way out." The Healing Center is that friend. You know, I lost my mom, Ellen Reich, about 4.5 years ago to Lewy body dementia. If we can flip to the slides, I'll show you a picture. This is her. So Lewy body dementia is a terrible disease. It's almost impossible to diagnose, and it's this nasty blend of Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. I had experienced death before my mom, but this was the closest family member where I was a caregiver. I saw her rapid decline, and then we quickly lost her. I'm originally from Virginia. My dad still lives there, so when my wife and when we came back to Seattle, I was lost. I was numb. I felt alone, not that alone where you're sitting in a room by yourself alone, but where what you once understood to be your world, that world had been obliterated. I was looking for help, and for the first time in my life, I started having panic attacks. It didn't matter where or what I was doing. I loved to run, and I could barely run down the street without that triggering an attack. So the first thing that I did was I reached out to different organizations here in Seattle, and I landed at Group Health, and they have a 6-week grief program. The therapist that they had there was tremendous, but it did not feel right for me. The other group members were more my dad's age, and it was really hard for me to relate. It was this program. So the idea was you go through 6 weeks, and by the end of those 6 weeks, you've got all the tools that you need to be able to continue and go on and live your life. For those of you that have experienced loss of any kind, we know this balance of living in two worlds, right? The world of those who get it, and then there's this world where you put your fake self forward. The "I'm doing okay," you say that to friends and you say that to coworkers, but then you grieve in private. It's where we sneak away and we cry where nobody else knows that we're doing that. So knowing that I needed more people my age, I started searching. And on a chance call, I called the local Jewish community center here in Seattle, and one of their outreach program coordinators mentioned the Healing Center and the young adult program. I was really nervous when I went to my first session, because at this point it was difficult for me to talk about my mom with anyone. The Healing Center has fully certified, trained facilitators that lead all of our groups. And I remember Jeannie welcoming me to that first session, And all I did was sit in one of those really comfy chairs in the room, and all I did was listen. It was really powerful sitting there, just looking at other people that were my age and hearing their stories, and then being able to see their progress. So in this first session that I sat in, there was somebody that was there that had lost their brother just 2 weeks prior. But on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, there was a woman who was there because it was the anniversary of her dad's death, and she was just having a difficult week, and so she just needed to come there to be able to be with others, you know, in the space that was comfortable for her. So you sit there and you listen and you learn how to find your way through others. You know, they all had the same things as I did: the panic attacks, the immense loss of self, the otherworldly feelings. But in the weeks, the months, the years later, you know that you're doing all right. Yeah, it's hard, and you keep at it, and I keep at it. And this was my wife's idea, which is awesome. We got a dog. This is Maddie, and she's the best. She's the best grieving person that you can have with you. And she's got my mom's soul, just sweet and tender. 2 years ago, I branched out from the young adult group, and I attended the Healing Center's annual program called the Ceremony of Remembrance. So we do this thing every year to honor those that you've lost. There's music, candles. It's a really beautiful program where people get together and they tell their stories. 2 years ago, I sat in the back of the room. My feet were frozen. I couldn't get up. I couldn't say anything. And I was okay with that. Last year, I ended up sharing this photo. So that's me in my mom's arms, and then that's my sister. Fall is my favorite time of year. We go apple picking, we'd go pumpkin picking, and I hold those memories really close. That crisp, that cold air, the sound of us laughing, the crunch of the apples that have been just plucked from the tree. You know, even though that she's not here, I still continue to look forward to every fall, and I truly cherish that. What really struck me, though, was after I shared this story at the Ceremony of Remembrance, a woman came up to me afterward, and we started talking. She had recently lost her husband, but she thanked me for sharing my story because she was in such grief herself that she hadn't thought about what she may need to do for her 30-year-old son as well. So I love this place, the Healing Center. It has saved me. As you've heard from Cindy and others, you know, we're growing. We've got 400+ participant families. We've got a wait list. We have a bunch of new board members. We have really big plans to shift the Healing Center sort of out of this small startup phase that we've been in for a while and really get out there and be a bigger part of the community. So when you or a friend are in need, there is a place where you can come and that you can grieve on your own terms. I want to play just a little video for you to hear from some others about that.
Serve kids starting at age 4 all the way to adults that are in their 70s and 80s. And this is something our community needs, and it's a service that we have that no one else is really providing.
One of the most important things I would say about the Healing Center is there's kind of these people who come, like the first comers who have just experienced grief, and then there's people who are kind of going through it and they're at, like, they can start to breathe and talk about it more, and then there's people who have been grieving for 14, 15 years, and you see the progress. You see that there's hope for you. People start to hold space, they incorporate the grief in their life, and they relearn, kind of like you learn a language. It's a different language, and you just have to start practicing and speaking it, and then you become a little bit more fluent, and this is a little bit more easy to speak about it. And so the Healing Center has held that space for me to be able to do that. So I love you guys.
So thank you. My ask to you is just to please spread the word. We're here for you. Appreciate it. Thanks.